Hello, thank you for joining us. This is Platform. I'm Ruth Aguwele. Kano State, the center of commerce, is on the spotlight. Well, characterized largely by its economic and agricultural viability, which has significant potentials in boosting its economy through various initiatives and strategies. Especially with an estimated population exceeding 15 million, the state is Nigeria's most populous nerve center in the north. Recently, the state government approved a 1.47 trillion naira budget for 2026 fiscal year, reflecting a strong commitment to economic development and repositioning as a competitive hub. Experts say the 2026 appropriation signals a deliberate attempt to reset Kano's economic trajectory if key sectors are put into consideration. Now, in an effort to promote inclusive governance and enhance policy making through community engagement, the Kano State Governor, Engineer Abba Kabir Yusuf, continues to demonstrate his commitment to effective and responsive governance as adjudged by stakeholders. But the question is, how is the state working towards translating investments into productivity? Well, that's on one divide. And meanwhile, while the state government continues to align development for the people of the state, Kano State is also dripped in political drama in recent times. But the focus on Platform is Kano politics and governance. And our guest is Ibrahim Weya. He's the Commissioner for Information, Kano State. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Weya.
Thank you very much.
I see you're busy putting down notes. You have a lot of information to share with us today. Thank you for coming on Platform.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
All right. And before we bring in our panelists, so let's let you in on who our guest is more appropriately. Ibrahim Abdullahi Weya is an influential civil society figure in Kano State and northern Nigeria. He served as the Executive Director of Citizens for Development and Education and has dedicated years of his civil society activism as advocate for promotion of democracy, good governance, anti-corruption, peace building, and women development. Mr. Weya holds a number of academic qualifications. I'll just mention a few. Higher National Diploma in Public Administration, Bachelor's of Law, Master's in Public International Law. And in the course of his career, he held several positions and managed a lot of projects. He was appointed in different positions, some of which include the president of the Kano Civil Society Forum, chairman of the Conference of Northern States Civil Society Networks, Secretary General, National Action for Women Agenda, chairman, Board of Trustees, Northern Youth Assembly, Fellow Institute of Security and Strategic Studies, Fellow Institute of International Peace and Secure Society, Fellow Institute of Business, Diplomacy and Financial Management, and a host of others. Well done. All right, our panelist on Platform today is one of our political correspondents who is also a comrade. Abubakar Okwanga, thank you so much for being on Platform. And this is your first time on Platform.
Yeah.
We're pleased to have you.
I feel good.
All right. Mr. Weya.
Yes.
You know, Kano State is the nerve for commerce, and we're seeing the economic viability in different ways as part of commitment by the state governor. But I'd like to hear some of the reforms that has been put in place to promote good governance for the people of Kano.
Yes, thank you very much, and a good day, all the viewers. It's been a pleasure to be here. Well, there are actually a number of reforms which His Excellency Abba Kabir Yusuf has been able to put in place for the effective administration of the state. Some of these are centered around issue promoting the practices of accountability and transparency and citizens' engagement, which are the core fields of democratic governance as far as democracy is concerned. If we go by the practices of accountability and transparency, since when he came on board, he tried to make his own administration very much open, especially when it comes to the issue of management of resources. There is now an effective usage or utilization of the procurement law, of Kano State, which has really provided a lot of things, provided number of procedures and conditions to which public procurement could really take place. And these include often bidding by any ministry or parastatal of a government that is intending to undertake any kind of project. It has to be very open, and the process has to be published on national dailies, inviting the prospective people who wish to come and bid for a contract. And the bidding will take place in an open place, so often, and everybody would be allowed to participate. Later on, the board of any ministry will sit down to go on the selection process of a company which probably qualified to be given such a contract. That would not really end there. The process has to also now go back to the Ministry of Procurement, Monitoring and Evaluation. There would not be an independent also ministry that would also go through all the processes to ascertain whether all the conditions and provisions laid down in the procurement law is judiciously complied with, and later they will now provide such concerned ministry with what we call certificate of no objection.
Okay.
That certificate of no objection is signaling the fact that yes, the process is open, transparent, and it complies with all the conditions and all the provisions of the procurement law. Then the ministry concerned will now take off the request to the Executive Council for approval. Then after the approval, immediately after every council meeting, myself as the Commissioner of Information and Internal Affairs, I now have the responsibility of making everything public. That is by addressing the press to tell them about everything that transferred in the Executive Council, by detailing every proposal, amount approved, the approvals given, the resolutions adopted, and after a briefing, I will also have to publish it.
Okay, we will definitely look at the projects and all of the initiatives carried out by the state government. But let's start by, breaking down some of the issues. Akwanga.
Yeah, I was very, very engrossed to the Honorable Commissioner when he was highlighting some of the major steps that the government is taking to, to run an open door policy and transparency in governance. But beyond that, we want to know what exactly the government is doing, because the government of NNPP, as it were, has been in the headline of media for a very long time, changing media narrative, in perspective that so many scholars may want to be interested in, even making up, thesis and dissertation in major learning institutions. Now, aligning such priorities as you outlined, aligning them with state and national development, how easy is the government navigating this process?
Well, we have a lot of issues in Kano. As far as the Kano, you know very well, it is a cosmopolitan area. It's a mini Nigeria, you can call it. Ruth was talking about 15 million people. We approximately now rated as about 20 million and above. And when you are providing essential services, you're not only providing to the people that are actually born there or that are actually bona fide citizens of the state. You're talking about the people that are coming from different ethnic nationalities that are living there. And that kind of services has to be very inclusive, so that is going to, the whole process of the governance, everybody can have a sense of belonging. Places like Savangari area, which is so much predominantly occupied by other people that come from other states, they have already considered that to be their own community or their own nation, and they are predominantly occupying that places. So for you to have a sense of inclusive governance, you will have to be providing the same kind of attention that you accord to some traditional societies or traditional communities in Kano, equally apply to those places, so that they can have also a sense of belonging. They are also an integral part of the Kano community, a general Kano community, or a larger Kano community. So navigating on this is not actually easy because one, the population side itself is also another issue, because managing human capital is one of the tedious things somebody will be undertaking. Then looking at the peculiarity of the state itself, coming or managing different people from different background, different social and economic and leaning, everybody with his own sense of ideology, sense of thinking, and the rest of that. So navigating that is also another thing. Again, like she also mentioned, that it is also you can call it enough center of commerce in northern Nigeria, not only in northern Nigeria, even through the trans-Sahara countries, because you find people from Chad, from Niger, from Cameroon, from Mali, they are all doing their own business on a daily basis in Kano. Many places or many goods have been transported over there. So navigating all these peculiarities, it really require an effective skills that you can actually apply so that you can be able to. And looking at also the challenges to do with peace and security, although we've been able to manage that very effectively. So navigating all these circumstances, all these prevailing conditions in kind of situation that we have gotten as peculiar is really actually a very tedious one. But His Excellency, the Engineer Kabir Yusuf, has been able to navigate on this and take advantage of this kind of peculiarity we have gotten in Kano, and also capitalize on that and make that, especially the population size, to be our strength. Okay. Making a population very effective one and productive one is one key factor that can really help you in addressing some of all these challenges, economic development challenges, political, social, and also religious. Being that also Kano is also very sensitive.
So just a quick one. Recently, the government of Kabir Yusuf declared a state of emergency in the education sector.
That's right.
How is government, tackling this new approach to ensure that lots of children are taken out of streets, and then the system is made to be strong and a kind that will guarantee the future of promising leaders as like you that is seated here? Anyone who watches this program will be amazed that Kano has many products who could represent it at any level in the world. Now, what is the government doing to finance this new approach so that everyone will be happy for it at the end of the day?
Yes, very beautiful one. When His Excellency Alhaji Kabir Yusuf came on board, one of the things that he realized is looking at the population. Like I say, the issue of productivity is there when you talk about population. Where there's population and the population is not really being productive, then it is completely a burden on the society, on the community. So try to make it to be productive. That is why His Excellency decided to invest more of all the resources into education. In 2024, he declared a state of emergency. 2025, he now decided to make a budget of Kano to be 29%. Then 2015, last year, 30%. This time around is now 31%. The total budget of 1.47 trillion. Out of it, 31% goes to education. This has practically indicated the commitment by the government, because where you talk about improving education, where you talk about cutting off the number of out-of-school children, where you talk about making the population to be very productive, then definitely resources are needed. And from what happened recently, especially with the result of the NECO, which recently was released about 2-3 months, it has really signified the fact that yes, the investment we're doing is not really going in vain, because it is actually yielding a result. Kano happened to be leading with the highest number of the students that are fast from credit, 5 credit and above, 5 students and above in the whole of the country. So imagine Kano beating places like Lagos, like places like Ogun, places like Oshun. These are practically some of the states that are believed to be so ahead of us when it comes to issue of Western education. Nobody will imagine that a state from the north will be beating those kind of big states as far as education is concerned. And it has really happened, and it was not a miracle. It was actually a practical thing that had really happened. Why? Because there was a commitment, or there is a commitment, and that is exactly what we believe in. Looking at the number of the schools that are now under construction, in every local government, within the 44 local government, 2 classroom, board of classrooms, block of 2 classrooms have been under construction, and many almost now near completion. This is also a commitment. We have now decided to start renovating some of the critical schools that we have getting, especially some schools with so much history that are for long stay reputable as schools like Shekara, like GGC, like Technical Ungogu. Many of them, they have been renovated, and a lot of money has been invested into that. Each of the schools, such they consume not more than 100, 200 million. Working materials, working equipment are all provided. And many of these schools have been rated now or have been now upgraded to a level that they can provide computer science studies in them. So this is actually the serious reform that is going on as far as education is concerned. If you go to also the higher education, still notwithstanding them, we have 2 standing universities that are working, or functional universities that are on ground already. Aliko Dangote Science and Secondary School. We also have Northwest University, and just of recent, His Excellency decided also to invest a lot of money investing in the science and science and technology. Aliko Dangote, expanding them, also supporting them with a lot of resources. The Northern University has now been able to be accredited to offer courses in medicine, in law, and the rest of that. Yes.
And also, we would like to look at the health sector. So I know there's been an upgrade and some renovations going on, yes. But there is need for more investment. You've mentioned the strides for the education, but let's hear from the health aspect, because there are concerns of payment of certain wages. There are also concerns of effective service delivery, now not for the infrastructure, but the manpower, which we're seeing gaps.
Well, there are no, as far as Kano health sector is concerned, there's no really gaps, because I think I can brag that we are one of the best as far as the issue of health services, provision of health services is concerned in the whole of the country. Why I say so is, currently all the primary health care facilities that we have gotten in Kano, the centers in Kano, across the 44 local government, they are all under upgraded. Though that do not have the general hospital within the local government, now the primary health care center has been upgraded to general hospital. When I say general hospital, I mean general hospital, a hospital that could actually receive people on admission, a general hospital that can actually perform surgery, sort like that, and a general hospital that can actually subject or perform so many number of things as far as health services delivery is concerned. And this is a hospital that will be consultant, specialized medical officers or medical personnel in that, and they're all being deployed across the 44 local government. Apart from that, all the general hospital we have gotten within the metropolitan now, they are now seriously undergoing also renovations, creating many centers. Like in Murtala Mohammed General Hospital, go there and see the kind of renovation, the kind of upgrading of the emergency center or the emergency unit of that university, of that hospital, where a lot of things has been invested, and medical services is provided. Anytime when there's accident, there are things, stuff like that, emergency situation then is been addressed, and you need to really look at the place, because it has been so beautified by a lot of things that has been put in place. And secondly, some of the university, one of the universities, that is another university that is now currently also offering courses in medicine. Already Abdullahi Muhammad Wasi Hospital, located at Nasarawa GRA, has been upgraded to the level of teaching hospital, and all facilities have been provided. And you
have enough manpower to carry the services?
Enough manpower, in the sense that we are now rated as the best paying state as far as the medical officers is concerned. This is not for me, this is coming from the Nigerian Medical Association. Okay. About 3 months ago, or 4 months rather ago, they give an honor or recognized our governor as the governor who has invested so much in the health sector in the country, and as somebody who has also provided welfare packages for all our medical personnel in the state. Many of the doctors that are in Kano, you can talk to them, and you will hear a very good story about what is happening as far as health package or health services package is concerned for the medical personnel in Kano. Currently, we are even also recruiting. Number of people are being recruited because we believe that we need to be doing that all the time, because we are actually in need of that because of the demand that we have got. Like I said, over 20 million you're talking about. You are always there are always demand, increasing demand for this kind of services. So that is why we keep on all the time recruiting people and also providing an opportunity for many to come in. As I've just come in from Kano yesterday, I came in from Kano yesterday. I learned that many number of medical personnel are now being interviewed for screening and possible employment into the services. So we are actually doing these kind of things. But we have also another pediatric hospital which provides services for women and children, and all the services in that hospital are free. Everything is free, to an extent that even the state government is providing free meal to the patient in the hospital who are on admission. Front payment of the salary 25 before or on 25 you get your allowances. Pensioners 25 or before 25 you get your own salary, you get your own allowances as a pensioner. That is not compromised. Also overhead for all ministries, tourist status is provided. Also immediately 2 or 3 days after salary is also there. Undergoing general renovations of all offices, complex in the state, complete all ministries, all parastatals in government agencies, they are all under renovation. These are all things that are actually being provided. Also, as far as governance is concerned, it's very transparent, very open, right from the process of budgeting and the rest of that.
Yeah, Honorable Commissioner, you made mention of salaries, timely payment of
timely
salaries.
Payment, 25.
Exactly, and that brings me to the point. The governor also recently approved more than 20 billion naira for the clearance of backlog of gratuity.
That's right.
And approval of 71,000 naira as minimum wage.
That's right.
This is a huge success for the government.
That's right.
And one thing we fear, mostly like myself, who is a civil servant, is no matter how long we stay in the system, someday I will need to bow out of the system. What is the sustainability of these huge success that the government has recorded? Because it might happen that if a precedent like this is not sustained, the incoming administration, perhaps after its 8 years in office, may not be able to sustain this progress. What measure, is there any backing by the State House of Assembly in form of law to ensure that this achievement has come to stay?
Well, honestly speaking, maybe some of the reason you can count on this for having recorded this or for having recorded this kind of success depends on the mindset of the person who is in charge. Secondly, also having the institutional reforms. That is, if you actually establish an institution that is working, and that is why we are finding things very difficult in Africa, because the institutions are not really working, simply because they are fragile in the sense that any time when you feel like encroaching them on certain things or undermining them on Monday, you can easily do that. But one thing that I'm sure about in Kano, His Excellency has actually succeeded in respecting a rule of law and also upholding the principles of the separation of powers. Separation of powers in the sense that each of the 3 arms of government is independent of one another. And that is exactly what the provision or the Constitution has provided. The legislature is an independent arm of government, while executive is as well also an independent arm of government, where the judiciary is also an independent arm of government. So His Excellency has tried to actually study and also appreciate his own boundaries. He doesn't really encourage on the rights or on the powers of others. The State Assembly is very much independent, and they are not being in any way coerced to do anything which is actually contrary to their own mandate or against their own interests. They are very much independent. They have been given free hand, and the Kano State government has even established Kano State House of Assembly Commission. So that is actually very much independent. They supervise everything, and we are the first in the country that has now submitted a bill which is to be promulgated as a law affirming the independence, financial and administrative independence of the local government in the country. We are the only state in the country. His Excellency has already approved of the bill. The Executive Council has approved of that bill, and it has already been transmitted to the State Assembly, and they are doing the needful. At the end of the day, if it comes and it sees the light of the day, then we're expecting that the local government will have a full autonomy. That is, they're going to be fully autonomous in the financially and administratively. And that is exactly one spirit that you develop. As somebody who is Democrat, you believe that things should be done the right way. We want the local government to be fully recognized as a third tier of government, also an administrative structure, as far as the federalism that we practice, the federating system we practice that is concerned. That this tier of government, this third tier of government will be very much independent, and they will be allowed to do their own things based on what is provided in the Constitution.
If I'll come in there, based on what Akwanga asked, the sustainability plan to ensure continuity.
The sustainability plan, putting the structures that are already there or strengthening the structures. And that is exactly what we're doing. By doing this, having the law of the State Assembly, strengthening these institutions to be very much independent, backed by the law that you already have in the state. Secondly, also the commitment also to see what you can do in-house or internally in terms of generating resources that can actually manage or sustain all the burden on the economy of the state. And that is why the government is very much committed as far as the internet generated revenue is concerned. His Excellency is doing a lot. Till now, since when he assumed office at the government in 2023, we have not in any way borrowed one single kobo. Everything that we've been doing is just from the federal government allocation and also the internally generated revenue. So this is to tell you that the commitment. There are many number of states that are already indebted, so fully indebted in billions of money, some in trillions. But as far as Kano State is concerned, we have not in any way borrowed anything. And Akongo was talking about the issue of the payment of the backlog of the payment of the gratuity. Yeah. Yes, His Excellency, when he came on board, we made a liability of about 47 billion. And to tell you, this time around, we've been able to settle about 27 billion now. 27 billion has been settled, and just only remaining 20 billion we're hoping His Excellency is going to really settle them before the end of this year. And secondly, we also been able to pay the severance allowances of the former councillor that served in the previous administrations. Yes, an amount to the tune of about 15 billion 600 million. We've been able to settle that also. And it was just only a burden that we all inherited. We were not actually, the councillor did not serve during our administration, rather they served in the previous administration. So you can see the commitment.
Mr. Waya, we'll continue with the conversation. We have to take a break. Do stay tuned so you pick up.
What are we doing as a nation to first of all settle our teeming populace, especially the
NTA's political package with a third eye on the nation's political scene. I am Fisa Ogunfuyi. Welcome.
You have to be very careful giving space to people who are obviously sponsored to further the agenda of some other groups.
There's a lot of questions. A lot of questions in a closed door sessions. Some of these issues, some of the problems bedeviling the their.
In fact, between June 1st and July 17, 19-point-something billion has left the coffers of the NDDC.
I can say my constituency, they need everything because we don't have anything.
A method for digital literacy is a bot that you can use, you can interact to learn more about digital literacy.
Hello, it's our pleasure to have you join us on platform. I'm Ruth Aguwele.
What is the yardstick for measuring everybody's moral integrity? It's critical at this point in time.
How daunting has that been for the Institute in getting them abreast with all the legislative procedures?
The fact remains that one training workshop is not enough.
Thank you for staying tuned. The conversation is on Kano politics and, of course, governance. Mr. Waya, you were just explaining how the government of Kano is, really putting efforts to ensure that the people have confidence in the administration. And talking about confidence, let's look at a very crucial aspect, talking about the youth empowerment and women empowerment. I know the administration has passion for gender equity and promoting that empowerment, promoting inclusion, especially in the aspect of women empowerment. So what are some of the initiatives set aside for women and also for the youths?
Thank you very much for this. I'm really glad. I think this is the most interesting question. Yes, because as somebody who has some the background for the civil society,
so he's an advocate too, so I understand.
Well, looking at first women, let us look at the practices of entrenching the gender equity first, and also inclusive governance as far as the Kano State government is concerned. Let me tell you one thing. Till now, the governor has appointed more than 72 women in different positions. 72 in different positions, and not just only positions, in critical positions of governance. And they're managing very well, they are doing very well. Starting from, for the first time in the history, this is the first time when a woman was given an opportunity to contest for the local government election. And she happened to emerge the winner, that is the chairperson from Tudumuda local government. And interestingly, all the remaining chairman of the 43 local government are all women, but yet she was supported to emerge as the chairperson of Algon. Above 43 men. It's not easy.
Especially in a place like that.
In a place like that. Yes, in a place like Kano, women imagine as the chairperson, and not only that, at the same time also imagine as the Algon chairperson that is leading about 40 grown of 43 men. It's not really easy because she is actually representing a very critical sector. When you talk about local government, you're talking about another government, a whole complete government, and she is working very closely with the Commissioner for Local Government. Almost all the administrations to do with the local government, she's actually the one in charge of that, or she's the one actually being part and parcel of the whole thing. Every decision as far as the local government is concerned, she's part and parcel of the whole thing. Secondly, for the first time, when about some high court judges were appointed, and about 9 of them, and when they were all appointed, among them 5 were all women. Yes, this is the first time I think in history we are having this kind of representation in the judiciary. Women, you can find this kind of exalted position. Not only that, is currently the judiciary in Kano is headed by a woman. The chief judge in Kano is a woman. Yes, notwithstanding her seniority in the whole thing, but at the same time, it all depends on the support of the governor. Yes, if the governor is not really much interested, there is a way probably things could be maneuvered, but he allowed things to go, and that is why I told you that one of the secrets behind the whole success we are recording in Kano is simply because of the principle that His Excellency has gotten, that non-interference in the affairs of the other arms of the government. He doesn't interfere in that. He allows things to go naturally the way they are, and he supports the process, and there's no any support that they really require that he doesn't provide for them. Apart from these positions of leadership we are talking about, which is also a clear also indication of His Excellency commitment towards empowering women and engendering also the practices of gender equity. Every month His Excellency has now entrenched that as also a ritual that 5,200 women will be empowered, each with 50,000 naira.
Monthly?
Monthly.
Okay.
This is a monthly ritual. He has been doing that since when he was an officer. So imagine to now how many number of women. From what I have approximately since when he came on board, more than 60,000 women have benefited from that scheme alone.
Across different
across the 44 local government, because in each local government 100 women are identified, making it 4,400. Then additional 700 women will be added, making it 5,200 every month. This is exactly what is happening.
Now, Honorable Commissioner, is it to support them with
it's a free money? It's a free no, it's a free money.
So it's
no,
a grant?
No, it's a grant. Just only you just only identify some vulnerable women at the local level, the society, where 50,000 could really be tangible enough for them to have it as a capital. You know, woman that lives in the capital, I mean, in a rural community, 50,000 is a big money.
So you say it's part of its social safety net intervention?
Well, it's part of the economic empowerment, and at the same time part of also poverty alleviation programs that we have gotten, because it really helps in empowering the women economically. At the same time also, recently about 2,000 plus women were also part of the people that benefited from the allocation of animals, that is goat. Yes, goats were purchased and distributed to women. In about 3, you will have 1, 2, 3. And before you know it, in the next 6 months, you will see that you're having a lot of these kind of animals then at your own disposal. This is a way through which a local woman could really be empowered. With that, then you will see them growing, and before you know it, she's becoming, I think, a local rich woman. And definitely people will really appreciate and also recognize her in that society. And because these animals, they don't need so much, especially when they are being reared in the local community. So they wouldn't find difficulty in taking care of them. That is also another thing that the state government is also doing. There are also about 24 institutes that we have gotten, which train women or train everybody, both men and women, on different kind of skills there. We have Horticulture Institute, we have fisheries, we have poultry, we have so many number of all these kind of stuff. We have garment industry, garment institute, we have all these kind of. So women are being recruited from time to time, especially in every 3 months. Currently about 2,000 plus women, including some few men, were actually graduated and were given take-up grant. And about 6 months ago, also a number of about 30,000 plus were also subjected to undergo this kind of training, poultry, fisheries, and the rest of that. And they are also given some stipend as a take-up grant. This is through ways that His Excellency is actually supporting women. Currently, not more than 2 months ago, the Executive Council approved for the establishment construction of a women training center under the Ministry of Women Affairs, Children and Persons with Special Disabilities, where women are expected to be undergoing this kind of training, and they've been supported and they've been empowered. And even in the foreign scholarship, many women have been supported and have also been sponsored to go on training foreign scholarship. So this is actually what the government is doing in supporting the women.
Thank you very much. Now let's talk a little about revenue. Kano State is one of the huge revenue destinations in Nigeria.
That's right.
And in the face of the new tax laws, there are lots of narrative driving the media, especially, you know, when people are enlightened, some segment of the people are enlightened, you know, whose the view that the law or the laws are meant to impoverish the north. And when you talk about northern Nigeria, what readily comes to anyone's mind is Kano State. How is Kano State facing this current reality?
Well, you know, this tax law in Nigeria has been a very controversial one. And one thing with it is nobody could tell you vividly the way how the whole thing is. Up to now, even those people that are actually been working in the tax sector, they could not explain to Nigerians what actually happened. It is so much, it's something surrounded by a lot of controversies, different kind of narration, different kind of interpretations is vivid, and a lot of people do not really understand. Some, they will explain to you in a way that it will not really affect the masses, and nobody will, but some will tell you. But honestly speaking, places like Kano, why we actually, what you're saying, considering our economic realities in the state, and considering that it is a commercial center, the Kano State government is power committee saying then to look into the law and also navigate on what we can actually liberate on, what are the opportunities that we can liberate on, and what are the kind of advocacy that we can. But as far as this law is concerned, it's something that is still work in progress. That is really what I look at it. It's still work in progress because many Nigerians do not really understand what it means by this law. Just about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, when I did some little transactions, I saw the kind of money that was debited from my own account. And also another money debited from my account, about 25,000 also, telling me that it is for administrative this and that. So these are all things that Nigerians really need to fully be informed about the whole thing. But in Kano, I know the Kano State Revenue Service, they've been trying to actually navigate on that, and also informing the general public on that. And I know they've been holding a lot of town hall meetings discussing about the whole thing. And I know even the governors, I know they are also working on that, try to even understand the whole thing. I think in December last year, there were a lot of agitations before the commencement of the implementation of the tax law, which commenced in January this year. A lot of people were actually coming up with agitations. But you know, Nigerians out there, sometimes when things come, when they talk about it, they forget about it. It goes like that. Yeah. But definitely, this is something that is affecting everybody, and is really affecting, not just only affecting, but it is really everybody should have a concern as far as this kind of things is concerned, because in one way or the other, you will be definitely affected either in one way or the other. But the real thing is, we in Kano, the beauty thing is everybody, especially those that are owning businesses, they all cooperate with the government. They pay their own taxes. The tax is concerned. We have no any problem with the people running businesses in Kano. They are cooperating because they are saying the kind of job or the kind of work His Excellency is really undertaking. So everybody is pleased on that.
Okay, so since you've mentioned the private aspect working in synergy with the government, I'd like to hear more on investment opportunities, the PPP aspect to unlock this economic viability for Kano State.
Very good, very good. Just recently, the what we call Can Invest, that is Kano Investment, is just only one agency of government that is saddled with the responsibility of actually advocating and also wooing some interested and potential investors into Kano. They just developed their own policy, and the last time we held our own council meeting, the policy was presented for adoption, which we all adopted with some little amendment, and they're now working to amend the whole thing, and they will go on that. We work on everything around law, because you cannot probably invite investors and also probably start amplifying your own advocacy for investors to come in without having an instrument that they can actually leverage on that. So we already have gotten a Kano State policy on investment as far as the investment is concerned. And I was part of the people that actually accompanied His Excellency to places like Morocco, where there were discussions around issue of partnership and investment in agriculture and other things again. And I know about the Ministry of Power and Renewable Energy right now. They are currently trying to seal a deal with some potential investors in power sector, because we are now geared toward generating our independent power in the state, particularly looking at leveraging on the renewable energy, because we're thinking that if Kano can actually be able to generate its own power, then our collapsed industries, they will be fully reactivated and revitalized, and that will really create an opportunities for the teeming population of the youth. That is exactly what we're really looking at. And again, the Kano State House of Assembly has also passed a law, that is electricity law of Kano State, looking at the opportunity now provided by the federal government through the amendment of the constitution, which has now provided an opportunity for the state government also to leverage and also the legislate on issue to do with the power generation, transmission, and the rest of that. So Kano State has already established its own law on electricity, and the commissioner, though the ministry is new, not long ago, just not more than 1 year, but the commissioner is very much working around the clock, trying to see the investment, what investment they can actually bring, so that we can be on the same page with other advanced states like Lagos on generating our own independent power.
Okay, Honorable Commissioner, at this junction, I think our viewer will not forgive us. We will not forgive ourselves either if we don't talk little about politics.
Yeah.
Now with the recent switch,
Talking about development, you want to talk about politics.
now with the recent switch over from NNPP to APC.
Yes.
How is Kano State today? Is it better than how it were before, or should we expect much more breakthrough? Because so many times we've heard from governors who, defected from opposition to the ruling party, saying that there is every necessity to align with the center. And alignment with the center is a sure way to attract more development to their respective states. Is it the same thought with the people of Kano, or is there something very, very unique and interesting that Nigerians should get to know?
Well, as far as Kano State now is concerned, we are now launching ourselves, or we have already launched ourselves into a new chapter of development, a new chapter of unity, a new chapter of progress and peace. Why I say all this is we are really looking at brighter days ahead and a brighter future for the state ahead. Simply because now many of the political heavyweight that we have gotten in the state have now decided to come together, join hands under the slogan of Kano First. We are now talking about Kano First. Every person who is within the political sector as a recognized political actor, we have all completely and collectively decided that we really want to have just one team. A team of progressive people, a team who stand for the development of the state, who will pursue and do everything to ensure that Kano actually excel in everything. And some of this division that we have had in the past were actually some of the bottlenecks that we have had and we were confronted with simply because of our divergent differences around issues to do with the partisan sentiment or partisan affiliation that has really stagnated Kano. In the past, looking at the state with an opposition party, those also representing us at the center from the ruling party, sometimes we used to find it very difficult actually to navigate on the opportunity that are there. It's not that you're going to be favored in anything or going to be specially treated, but the important thing is there wouldn't be anything for you to have access to the center. That any other thing that is actually being discussed at the center, you could have the opportunity to be part of the whole discussions, to be part of also the people that can leverage on whatever opportunity the federal government can actually present. That is the most important thing. Although the center may favor you one way or the other through special intervention, His Excellency, the President of the country, has gotten every privileged as a president to provide a special intervention for a particular state looking at a particular condition or particular situations and probably the particular concern and demand of that people and of that time. So that is not really out of place. And for you also to be part of a whole family, you cannot confide being alone. So we are now in a larger family where we feel that we are now part of the larger family where our governor is no more considered as an opposition party, that he can join his all other counterpart from the other parts of the state, other part of the country to leverage of that. And you know how politics is sometimes in this country, can actually divide a lot of things, can actually also prevent you from getting what is due for you.
Okay, Mr. Waya, just to buttress on what you said, you recently debunked a rumor that the state government has not lost grip, so to say, of its administration.
That's right.
And also you raised concerns that voters who put the governor in from the NNPP are not alienated.
Yes,
so going forward, what assurances are you given on behalf of your leader, Kano people, that with the new mandate, it doesn't change the mandate of the administration?
Nothing has really changed.
Okay.
Let me emphasize on that. The governor is absolutely and completely on top of the situation, and he's still the one with the grip of the state. Simply because out of the 28 commissioners that we have gotten, only 4, 5 have just quit. 1, 2. We have, out of 22 members of the State Assembly we have gotten, 22 are already all with the governor, including also the current or the Serbian APC members that are already there in the state. So he has the majority, more than 36 members, 37 members are now with the governor because they are all from APC. Again, also, the 44 local government chairmen, 484 councillors are all with the governor. So he's the one actually having the whole grip on that. And again, starting from the beginning of the whole process there, governor should not be blaming anybody. That is why we kept on trying to change the whole of the narrative, because a lot of people have been distorted and have been misguided in the sense that many people accuse governor of him single-handedly leading the whole of the process. No, we the members in the then NMPP were the people that started the process. That is, we all held consultative meetings across the 44 local government. We then came up with the resolution that we had to prevail through advocacy to the governor, to our leader, the former governor, Senator Rabi Musa Konkoso, that they should please consider rejoining the FEC, because we were also in FEC before. Governor Dr. Rabi Musa Konkoso was the person that actually defected from PDP then in 2013 to APC at that time as a ruling party, while he was on the grip of the power of the state as a governor then.
Okay.
And he moved the whole of the state down there. So we are still there and nothing has changed, and the mandate of the people has not really changed, except only that we have even renewed our own energy now and vitality, and we are very much ready now to provide more effective administration as far as Kano State is concerned.
Thank you.
Mr. Waya, if I allow you, your energy will keep being renewed. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming on platform. There are a lot of issues to look at, but we'll leave the conversation there while we monitor developments happening in Kano State, which happens to be my birthplace actually. So I would say ni Erkana.
That's right.
Thank you so much. He is the Commissioner for Information, Kano State. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Abubakar Kwanga, our political correspondent and our very own comrade. Thank you so much for being on the platform.
Thank you very much for having me, Ruth.
All right. So we've been discussing Kano governance and politics, whichever way you put it, but the bottom line is that governance should be for the people, by the people, and of the people. And that's Platform. I'm Ruth Aguwele.